Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida. We just got done with that job. I went ahead and sorted through everything to keep, to sell, to donate, and I went ahead and posted everything on Facebook. I'll show you a couple of the items in a second. One of them is actually pretty cool. I kind of want to keep it, but you can't keep everything. The scrapyard earlier, that was just a small load just to kind of clear out whatever I had at home, because I'll get like really full stuff and then I try to like declutter it a little bit. So we were kind of just running trips. It wasn't a big trip, but it was just to clear out some room. As far as the business goes, something I like had a realization of earlier this week, and I like sat there and I wrote out a whole business plan. I kind of want to revisit like my roots. So I want to go back to the basics. So what that means for me is when I first started the business and I was doing it part-time while doing the moving, I was focusing on a very specific target audience. I was marketing with very specific items, and everything was free and or really, really cheap for the most part. So my target audience was the same it is now, plus or minus a few things. So realtors, professional organizers, apartment buildings, condos, HOAs, property management, if I didn't already say that, storage units, things like that. So your typical person who needs junk removal. And the marketing material I would use is business cards, flyers, promotions, whether it's online or in person. I started using signs in like mid 2021. Those proven to be pretty helpful. And just overall, online presence. So I kind of want to get back to doing that and then just amplify it. So I'm treating this year as like my first year in business. And the reason being is it's technically my first full-time year from start to finish. So I'm hitting all the seasons, I'm hitting the slow times, the busy times, everything. And the reason for kind of going back to the basics is I was watching a video and then I followed up with a few of the blogs, and if I can find that person, I'll comment down in the description. But they were essentially talking about growing like a healthy business versus just growing a business. And a healthy business is built on a strong foundation over time, so that as you grow and you get bigger and bigger and busier, if something happens and it sets you back, it doesn't destroy your strategy. It doesn't set you back so far that it's nearly impossible to come back from it. It's just a minor setback. And things like that can happen with not having a strong, foundation of repeat clients, referral clients, or working with people who use you on a regular basis, things like that. So I want to get to a healthy foundation this year so that next year I can actually grow, as in hiring employees, getting multiple vehicles, and essentially get off the truck. So that's kind of the goal. Now, as far as employees go, I'm still going to do 1099 contractors, but I'm going to try to get them like on call. So I'm actually going to put like a post on Indeed for hiring, but for 1099 employees. And I'll just kind of get like 4 to 5 of them together. So if I have a job pop up that I need somebody's help for, I'll call and say, hey, are you available at so-and-so time? If they say no, I move on to the next person. If all those people can't do it, I'll hire out the movers that I normally use and I'll just pay them out of my pocket. Now, the only problem that I've seen with using 1099, other than the fact that they're not full-time, is if I have to provide a COI for a building, I'm covered on that insurance policy, but they're not. So that's the only part it would get a little tricky, and I would just have to acknowledge that when those moments arise. So besides the employee part, I also have been talking about getting a dump trailer this year. That's kind of one of the goals. But I was getting it more for the fact that it can handle larger weight. I could do more construction debris jobs where I can fill it up with just towel without having to bag it and then just dump it out. I'm actually reconsidering that a little bit, and I'll talk about that why. But the alternative I'm looking into is just a typical double axle trailer, but a 14-foot instead of a 12-foot. That was one of my big mistakes I made when I first got my trailer, was I got a 12-foot single axle, and I just wasn't familiar with the axles and multiple weights. I just wasn't thinking about that at the time, and that's one of the big mistakes I could have made, because if I had just gotten a double axle, it would have been like $800 more, but it would have been solving my current solution. So that was my fault. The reason for it is I asked a few people I know that have dump trailers for their businesses. One of them is a roofing business, one's a contractor who does his own dumping, and then 2 guys are junk removal. I asked all 4 of them what they thought about it, pros and cons, and they were all pretty similar. For the roofing guys and the contractors, their cons weren't quite as serious because they're just kind of tossing stuff into it. But for the junk removal guys, they said that loading the trailer sucks because you're right off the back, you're 26 to 30 inches off the ground. So like you'd have to bring a couch up to it, lean it forward, push it in, or you'd have to chuck everything into it. Whereas when I have my trailer with the ramp that comes down, I can just pull everything onto it with a hand truck and drop it off there. Now, of course, when you get to the dump, I can't just push a button and go wee. I have to sit there and offload it. But realistically, out of the last 50 times I go to the dump, I would say maybe only like 2 or 3 times kind of suck. And it's usually if I'm offloading like wood debris or construction debris and it's a lot of it, or if it's like just boxes and piles of books or something like that. That's the only time it really sucks. Otherwise, it's not that difficult. It doesn't take that long. I think people are just lazy when it comes to that. And realistically, there's more benefits to having just a double axle utility versus a dump trailer for the same function. So the tear weight is heavy on a dump trailer, and the mechanical rises the insurance policies and the cost. In my area, throughout all of Florida, the cheapest trailer I was able to find for a 12-foot dump trailer with 4-foot walls was $10,900, and that was in Tampa area. I think that's the trailer that Steezy Flips got. That was the cheapest one I could find. I looked out of state because I would be willing to drive up and drive back or pay someone to bring it down to me, and the cheapest I was able to find was $9,895. Now, I personally don't want to buy used, so before I get any critics in there, just hear me out. I have my reasons for not wanting to get used. I've dealt with used vehicles in the past, and I know it's not quite the same, but I have heard that if you have a mechanical problem wrong with it, they're not the cheapest to fix. So I personally would just rather buy new, especially because I plan on making it last for a while. So those are kind of the reasons. I'm thinking of just getting the double axle 14 foot with 5 foot size this time instead of 4 foot, so I increase my cubic footage a little bit. And I may do a wood build since it's not a dump trailer now. And I talked about this a while ago, but I had an idea to do a wood build it'll be strong and like actually secure, using like proper brackets and mending plates and reinforcing the corners and stuff like that. And then I already reached out to my brother who does the welding, and I got a quote for doing like 4 foot by 12 foot aluminum side sheets that I can put on each side of the trailer and just fasten it to the wood. And then I can get those wrapped, and it'll overall save me like, I think it was $2,600 I quoted myself, plus just getting the trailer alone, it comes out to about a little under $4,000 versus a $12,000 dump trailer. Now I do still plan on doing the dump trailer or the trailer rentals, and I also plan on doing the auction bidding, and that's going to be more my thing, but I'll be incorporating the business with it. So those are kind of the game plans. I want to get back to the basic roots to where everything is done for free and or really cheap. I'm still going to be doing like the yard signs and stuff and the free networking events, but I just want to build up my circle of people who use me on a repetitive cycle, like the realtors, professional organizers, and the few contractors that I know. But I just wanted to build that up a little bit and then just really strengthen it, so that even at my slowest times, I have repetitive work coming in. So that's kind of the idea for this year, is to keep things simple. So my 2 things I'm going for is simplicity and consistency. I'm going to essentially treat the business like a 9 to 5. So I, for some reason, aren't busy on weekends. I'm busy during the week, but not weekends. I don't know why. But basically, Monday through Friday, morning to evening, I'm going to be focused on the business. So wake up in the morning, while eating breakfast, do social media, check all the voicemails, check emails, push things out on social media on all platforms. If I don't have a job lined up, I'll go out and do marketing somewhere, doing something, anything. I'll do ghost routes, I'll go by businesses, introduce myself, I'll go to network events, I'll work on the website, update it, do the keywords, post out new pictures, work on promotions, just anything business related. And then, you know, if I have a job, obviously the job is the focus at the moment. I also want to shoot for repeat clients and referral networking, so like really trying to push for that. And I just want to simplify things and just really build a foundation so that next year I can grow. So that's my game plan for this year. I spent like 2 days writing up like a marketing plan that's like really just structured and like soundproof, and I will only tweak it if something new actually pops up. Otherwise, that is pretty much how we are set up for the rest of this year since we're doing it full time. And let me show you this really cool fish that I kind of want to keep, but if it doesn't sell within a month, we'll keep it. So look at this cool little thing. It's a mid-century modern vintage blown glass fish. I think it's pretty cool. I went ahead and hosed it out so it got like a natural shine to it. They go for a couple $100 brand new in certain areas, but there are like a couple of knickknacks there. So we put it up for 75. I got this off of that 2-truck job. I got this today, I got this today, and I got this today. And then we got some fireworks for 4th of July. Brand new oil, could have used that with my car. I was gonna try to sell this thing, but it's missing a chunk of wood right there. These are gonna get donated. And then this is cool, but it's missing the little pockets here. I might just try to sell it and say it's damaged and someone can sit there and spend 20 bucks fixing it. But we went ahead and got some of this cleaned up. I need to post all these lamps. This I'm gonna have my dad put in his antique booth. This is a vintage 1940s brass lamp. Gotta do some research on that one. Let's see. This is all my wires getting full. This is all crystals, or not crystal. This is all vintage silverware. This whole thing here. This is like an electronic record player, and then underneath it is a bunch of like jewelry and gold and stuff. We got this on our job today. Some copper silverware has some weight to it. Our CPUs are growing. I've been trying to push these out. I asked the guy at the scrapyard the last time I went if they took those, and he said they don't, but he gave me a place that does. So we'll be going there. I think that's about all the fun, cool little things. This stuff here is just for our county's food drive. They take chemicals, and then any canned foods or sealed foods that aren't expired or opened, I kind of donate to them. I think that's all my cool stuff. So went ahead and condensed the trailer a little bit since it's basically an 1/8 of a load, a little less. We'll hold off on dumping it for a little bit. All of that is for Goodwill that will drop off tonight after our fighting class. And that's about it. So, is this not cool? Be honest. Tell me if that's cool or not in the comments. I think that's pretty cool. So, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap up what I'm doing, go to my storage unit so we can try to post a few more things on Facebook and drop off the trailer and move on with my day. So, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye.